Real quick this morning, I want to go over some ways to optimize and make your NT8 platform more efficient. Uh, I'm going to talk about some issues. I've seen a lot of issues lately, just little stuff. And then when I go back and forth with some of the traders, not all of them, I can tell there's aspects of what I'm going to cover here they're not understanding. So, first of all, any chart, like I just connected feed about 2 minutes ago. You can see I have a chart here loading the super band, still calculating. It normally takes the super bands, which is a very intensive indicator for NT8. It usually takes my chart about 4 minutes to load the super bands. Yeah, 4 to 5 minutes right after I connect the feed and it's doing its refresh, loading up fresh historical data. I only run 2 charts with super bands. I'm running about 7 charts in total. I'm on an i7 chip laptop. That's about a year and a quarter old. So that'll give you a feel. If you're on the i9, and I'm on 1 gig internet, so I'm on really good internet. This isn't the internet issue as much. This is NT8 and the way the indicator has to initialize itself. It has a long process to go and look at a whole bunch of bars back to initialize the very first plot when you first fire up feed. It's a very important process. There's 2 modes in the super bands. It's defaulted to a dynamic mode. There's another mode. You can go in the indicator and click on static. Static mode is fixed plot. Each bar, that closes of price, each segment of the bands are fixed plot. There's no adjustment to it or anything. Okay, so what I do when I start NT8 in the morning, because NT8 is like an old man, it needs help in the morning. And until they give us an NT9, this is just some of the stuff I do. I'm noticing a lot of people with glitchy NT8 issues, and then we're finding out that a reinstall of the AIQ_NT8.zip or any other type of tool is having them go through the process of removing the one they currently have and installing a new one cleans it right up, like 90% of the time. So just a good general rule of thumb, always download tools, indicators, regardless of the vendor. Do it with Google Chrome. Make sure you have no VPN on and make sure you have no Wi-Fi firewall and no computer wirefall. So if you're at Joe Blow's coffee shop, they probably have a Wi-Fi firewall and you're downloading tools. Don't do that. You'll corrupt the files. The zip files can get corrupted. And then, there she goes. And then, when you load it into NT8, there's a possibility of a file corruption. Now, in a million years, I never thought that was possible. But over the years and how many troubleshooting things I have to go through, that seems to be a big one. So let me just show you something real quick. So if you have anything that's continually being a chronic issue, like charts slow to load and all that, I would suggest, after the trading hours or on the weekend, go and remove Ninja Script assembly and go remove the item that's causing you issues or that you suspect. Like, let's say, you're having charts that every time you load super bands, it's just taking like 10 minutes or longer. That should not be happening. In the beginning, when you apply feed or anytime you go change the setting in the indicator and then the chart's getting refreshed, it's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes to load that indicator. So when you get the settings set, just leave your charts alone. Don't keep dinging around with them during the day. Do that stuff afterwards. Now, so let's say you think the super bands are causing you problems. Highlight they're inside of the AIQ_NT8 or whatever indicator it may be. Highlight the item and do remove Ninja Script assembly, then restart the platform. Then the next thing to do, go on your computer, and in this case, we'll use the AIQ underscore NT8.zip. Go on your computer and delete your zip file. Then go into wherever you have the link. I use box.com. Make sure on Google Chrome, no VPN, no firewall, re-download the indicator. Make darn sure you don't already have the indicator on your computer. Because Windows, if you download AIQ underscore NT8.zip or any other indicator, and you already have it on your computer, and you download it again, Windows 10 or 11 is going to put a parentheses 1 or 2 or 3 after it. Now you have a file. If you load it to NT8, it's corrupted. That's just a Windows thing. It won't let you download the same file name, so it adds something at the end of the indicator name to make it like a separate file. I see that a lot. People have it already downloaded 2 times. They download it again, then they load that one. They've just downloaded an NT8 file, and I'll show you what Windows does. So let's say you're having some bugginess in an automated strategy. You've removed the strategy from your computer. Then you go and so let me go here. I'm going to rename this. This is what Windows will do. So let's say somewhere down below, I already have the pivot point strategy already loaded to this computer, and I forgot to delete it. Now I go to the box.com link and I download it again. That's how Windows will put the name. Since you already have pivot point strat somewhere below, when you download it again, it'll put a parentheses with a 1 around it. Or if you have it 2 times below, one will be the name, one will be a parentheses 1, and this one will be a parentheses 2. You go load that into NT8, good luck. So you'll have problems. Okay, I'm going to rename it back to what its name is. So always make sure if you're going to download something again, you don't already have it loaded in your downloads folder. That's a big one. I run into that all the time. People are importing files with the parentheses 1, parentheses 2, parentheses. One time I was working with a guy, like back and forth for 2 days. Then when I go and I finally went on TeamViewer, he had like to the file up to a parentheses 11. And he downloaded like parentheses 9, didn't work. And it's like, oh my gosh, I fixed it in 2 seconds. Cleaned out all those files, downloaded a fresh one, imported it, and he was importing through a VPN. Huge, huge issue. So if you have anything at all glitchy, go this weekend or after the market today, re-download stuff, re-import, and then in NT8 itself, anytime you're loading a fresh NT8 or you're loading an updated version from NinjaTrader Client Portal, Google Chrome, no VPN, no firewall when you download that NinjaTrader file. Here's another big one. Always start NT8 with no VPN on and no firewall, because NT8 needs to talk to the NinjaTrader servers, and NT8 needs to talk to our activation deactivation servers. Getting a lot of people with glitchiness. They're running firewalls, or they're on a VPS service that has a firewall. It's really good to start the platform with nothing on. Then you can go turn that stuff on. I would never, ever trade automated on any NT8 with a VPN or firewall running. I see too many issues. So the computers that I use to run my heavier automated stuff, I don't do any web browsing or any of that. I'll go somewhere to download a file, like from box.com, but I don't do any like web browsing and that kind of stuff. Sorry. And this is another big thing. In the morning, before I connect data feed, when I first fire up NT8, if it isn't already running, always let charts populate bars and indicators, then connect feed. Let all of your charts fill up with their indicators and stuff. Once that's all done, might take a minute, 2, 3, then go to your control center and connect the feed. Another thing, I suggest resetting the database, historical database. So tools, database management, reset, both boxes checked, reset, click out of this, restart NT8. I do it at least once a week. I do it on the weekend. I usually do it Saturday morning. So I'll go to the coffee shop, hang out, I'll reset my database on this one, and then in my trade office, I'll usually do it Friday right after the close. Now, when there's been big market moves, there's tons of bad data in your NT8, especially if your charts are powered by Rhythmic. If your charts are powered by DTNIQ or CQG, I'd still do the database resets once a week. Best data to power your charting, DTNIQ by far, but it's expensive. I think it's about $180, $190 a month. CQG from Lucid Trading or TPT is about the best prop firm data feed. So what you do, you connect those feeds first, the one that's going to power your charts. Then if you're using Rhythmic, like from Apex or some other prop firm, connect that feed second and never ever connect two Rhythmic feeds. One time I had a guy like just back and forth with me, all kinds of problems with the automation, this. I'm like, so what are you doing? So I went and looked, he had like 5 feeds connected to NT8. 4 Rhythmics or 3 Rhythmics. I'm like, no. No, you can't do that. So that's like taking a 99-cent water valve from Kmart and trying to connect like 6 hoses to it in and then have one hose out to your charts or your order writing. Don't do that. So very important stuff here. I can't tell you how many problems I have to deal with week after week from files being corrupted that people are loading into NT8. It's because they're not using Google Chrome. They got VPNs or firewalls on. The file's getting corrupted as they load it onto their computer. And then when they go put it into NT8 through the import process, it's corrupted. It's going to have glitchiness. So if you have glitchiness this weekend, if I were you, I'd follow all this. I would do an uninstall of your NT8. At this point, you can load the latest and greatest version of NT8. I've been running it now with 0 problems on 2 boxes after the programmer green lighted me. It's like 8.1.6.0 or something like that. You might want to just go ahead and update to the latest and greatest version. You can go ahead and reinstall your indicators or your zip files, import them. Then that way you can go into next week with everything fresh and ready, done proper. If you're having any issues, automation, not taking trades, super bands on any chart running for a really, really long time, and so on. So these are some critical things to go through. If you have any questions on NT8 operation, there you go. And you guys have a great trade day.